Welcome back to Moose on the Loose. My name's David. Today I've got an interview here which was shot just a few days ago at the Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce. He was interviewed by the Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Lauren Remillard, who seemed to have fair questions. They're a little stern, but he's also a big-time brown-noser. I wouldn't be surprised if he got home that day and his wife was wondering why there's Nutella on his face. Now, after going through this entire interview, which is 57 minutes long, which I highly do not recommend you do, they really should have a warning that this may cause nausea, vomiting. You might even get the Hershey squirts watching this thing. It's so bad. But there's one interesting section I want to point out with immigration. Justin Trudeau talks about what he thinks about it. This is very telling, and he is an absolute nut job. He has lost his mind completely.
We applaud your government to move us forward on the path of truth and reconciliation. How have the calls to action shaped what your government has undertaken and what you hope to advance as Prime Minister?
First of all, people think of it as, reconciliation, particularly with the way the calls to action are top of mind in terms of the to-do list that needs to happen. Reconciliation is about government, or governments, and Indigenous peoples. And
I'll just quickly note here, there's a list of reconciliation items. There's something like 90, I can't remember, 95, 98 of them, a bunch. And the Trudeau government has done so few, I can't remember, what is it, like 8 or 10? There's not hardly any of them is what they've done in the last 8 years. It was calculated by the time we hit 2082 that Trudeau will finish all the line items. That's why he just wanted to kind of sweep that under the rug and say that's not what it's about. But really, that's what it's about. People need clean drinking water.
But it was Canadians deciding and making very, very clear that reconciliation mattered. And they voted on that. And it was a thing that actually turned the tides, among other things, in the 2015 election.
And then you broke your promise, as usual.
The understanding of the land and responsibility.
So he just goes on and on and on like he's some sort of Indigenous leader. It's real rich. It's real rich. I'm sure anyone who's First Nations who watches this will be just like appalled by it.
Of how to build a strong economy in the 21st century. That the work that has been done first in regaining, starting the process of regaining trust is essential. One of the things we always heard from Stephen Harper and his Conservatives before we got elected, to go back very far, but at the same time we hear the same narrative out of a number of Conservative premiers across the country still, that if we want to get big projects built, we have to ram them through the way a railroad was laid across the prairies 100 years ago. The consultation process is just preventing anything from getting built.
Yeah.
And that's a fundamental misunderstanding of how to build a strong economy in the 21st century.
This guy is unbelievable. Really? He's blaming Harper in this Winnipeg fireside chat? 8 years, man. Harper hasn't been in power for 8 years, and you're still blaming him. Trudeau giving advice on how to build a strong economy is like asking a dinosaur for a recipe for French onion soup. Next up, Trudeau spills the beans on immigration, and it tells a lot about what he thinks and how stupid he is.
In January, your government announced plans to maintain previously set immigration targets of 485,000 in 2024, 500,000 in 2025, and then maintain and stabilize those levels. How can your government ensure Canada's immigration strategy is balanced but responsive to regional realities?
My hometown of Montreal, yes, great cultural diversity, starting with the French and English, and seeing it fast on its way to being the...
He almost lost his lunch listening to himself talk.
Over the past years, we have steadily increased the number of permanent residents that we're accepting as a country. As you mentioned, it's up to 500,000 a year over the coming years. That has been a steady increase that is perfectly in line with what Canada can absorb, what we need to grow our economy, to grow our communities in a way that is successful as we always have been. That's not where the challenges that people are seeing around housing and other issues are coming around immigration. Because even as last year and this year we're bringing in 450, 460,000 people, we welcomed in about 2 million temporary or classified as temporary immigrants, either visitor visas, but more temporary work permits for temporary foreign workers, international students where the numbers have shot up in an astronomical way across the country, particularly Ontario. We've seen a rise in asylum seekers even as we managed to close Roxham Road by renegotiating the Safe Third Country Agreement with the United States. We're seeing more people arrive through airports. So a lot of the challenges are because things have happened in other areas than the permanent residents that we've welcomed in. And that's why there are very, very clear measures that we're taking. We're in conversations with Mexico about making sure that the number of asylum seekers, some of them supported by organized crime in Mexico, to come up to Canada are reduced. We're taking that measure on international students to make sure, and it's not even about saying, oh, there needs to be enough housing for international students when they show up, although that was a particular problem driving up rents in some communities around Ontario particularly. But we have seen over the past number of years an increase in mental health distress and even suicides in international students who come to Canada, who are squeezed, are with cost of living, are trying to work at the same time, are hoping to maybe become Canadian and not getting the kind of quality education that they're paying through the nose for, because there are increasing numbers of fake diploma mills that are bringing people in because it's extremely profitable to bring in international students. We're going to always need and benefit from tremendous immigration, but the most important responsibility we have as a federal government is to make sure that Canadians themselves remain strong and positive and confident about immigration, because it's one of the huge advantages we have as places around the world are turning away from immigration. We need to show that our capacity to welcome people in and have them succeed and contribute, which is all they want to do, is maintained. And that's why we're making some of those adjustments to make sure we're on stronger footing, because the post-pandemic years led to massive movements that we have to make sure we're keeping under control.
This guy is out to lunch. He's basically blaming his lack of policies and his lack of safeguards on foreign students as the only... It's the whole thing, man. It's everything. It doesn't matter if they're foreign students or if they're immigration, people moving here. A person is a person is a person, which means they need a house. It's all of it. I got the numbers, so let's just look at it. All right, what we've got here is new immigrants in Canada from year 2000 to 2023, which means to the end of 2022, the start of 2023. And you can see here the immigration level has been pretty flat. It went down a little bit for COVID. But basically, the Harper government, which he loves to blame, brought in an average 250,000, 240,000. Trudeau got into power here. It jumped right up to 323,000, 300,000, 300,000. Then he just decided, hey, let's just wreck the whole country and bring in 500,000. And so there's one more bar here, which we don't have yet, which will be last year, 2023, which will also be right up here at 500,000. The current amount of houses that we build per year as a whole, all the builders in Canada, is about 250,000, which is right here, is this flat. So all of the extra foreign workers and foreign students would be on top of that. We're already at a deficit, which is why Canada's housing prices have been slowly going up, but this fool doubled the amount of immigrants. He doubled them. So instantly, this is already right here. These two, plus the 2023 last year, that's 750,000 extra people who don't have homes. That's a jumbo jet every 2 hours landing in Montreal and Vancouver or in Toronto, filled to the gills with people looking for houses. That's how many people we got coming in. This is the temporary foreign worker program permits from 2000 to 2022. Now you can see the Harper government, which was here, they brought in more foreign workers. What do you know? You have all these people complaining that they can't find workers to help with jobs. Well, this is the Trudeau. They reduced this. Now you see recently, this last year, it's skyrocketed. They've doubled it. But when we already have a housing crisis now, it's like you doubled immigration, like all the houses are taken. This has made it worse. This all happened in the exact same year. He doubled immigration, doubled the foreign workers. In this case, though, you're doubling it from like this 80, 50 to 120. So you're adding an extra 50,000 people roughly. So what we've got here is the number of study permit holders from 2000 to 2022. And this has been slowly increasing. So once again, we look at Harper, it was at 350,000, 330-ish. He's got 800,000 now, so he's really jacked it up. 600,000 here. So while the largest number of people coming in needing houses is the foreign students, we can't just not look at the immigration. That's 250,000 people. So you got 250 immigration. Now we've got 500,000 from foreign students, which is extra on top, right? This is not just 500, 800,000 total, 500,000 from immigrants. Throwing all the other stuff, you got the asylum seekers and the temporary visas, and like you said, 2 million people. This is the kind of guy who's like, yeah, let's just open the doors, but let's not have a plan to actually build houses. Meanwhile, Sean Fraser, Captain Gumby, is just sitting in the corner twiddling his thumbs. Like, I don't understand how there's basic numbers here. It's all math. This is just math. It should actually just be a math formula. Like, is Sean Fraser and Mark Miller just sitting in their offices and one of them farts and you're like, oh yeah, that one sounded like an 8 to me. Yeah, let's make it 800,000 study permits. Yep. Like, what are they doing in there? So at the end of this interview, look at this face. It's enough to scare a child for the next decade. The interviewer here, he does some brown nosing, and it's just, it's gross. It's gross.
Remain hopeful, optimistic, and ambitious about the world we can and must build together. And that's why, I am so driven to continue to get out there and be part of this important moment in history that is a bit of a hinge.
This is a bit of a hinge. A single mom who can't pay her bills. This is a bit of a hinge. It's that nurse living in her van. It's a construction worker who builds houses who can't afford houses. It's just a bit of a hinge. Look at him. He's got the dark hand of Sauron there.
Inflection point about what kind of future we're building. People get into politics to make a difference. This is one of those moments where the choices we get to make as societies all around the world are going to shape the coming decades and generations.
He said he wanted to make a difference. He's definitely done that. He has destroyed Canadians' lives. Congratulations, JT. Yeah, you did it.
I know that Canadians are going to meet that moment in the way we always have, with confidence, optimism, and a big smile as we get to work to build a better future. So that was the question about downtown. Yeah. But thank you. Yes.
Great answer. Before I ask you for some concluding remarks, I will say we started...
That was them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for helping us understand some more of these issues as Prime Minister. I will say, growing up, I always wanted to be Prime Minister. I did.
Just give me a few more years, before you make the leap.
And now in this role,
I'll find you a riding here in Winnipeg. I'm happy. We've got a couple of unheld
might
seats.
Have a job opening after.
You're looking for a job. I'll bring you on.
But just, sitting here, listening to you today, interacting with you, I just want to say, really appreciate the sacrifice, the personal sacrifice that leaders take in taking on these responsibilities. It's, you're constantly under the barrage, and I just want to say thank you very much for every day continuing to lead, and thank you for everyone in this room for continuing to lead as well. Final word to you.
It's continuing to lead. Personal sacrifice? Are you kidding me? This guy just went to Jamaica on our dime. Give me a break. He went to Tofino earlier in this year. I have an entire list of all of his vacations. 2015, St. Kitts, 64,000. Aga Khan, 2016, 250,000. Bahamas, India, 1.6 million. Costa Rica, 200,000. Montana ski vacation. Jamaica again. Sacrifice? This guy is not a leader. He's a loser, an absolute loser. Brown-nosing Charlie Brown.
It's very kind, but I have the best job in the world right now because of all the world leaders. I'm the only one that gets to serve Canadians.
And steal their money. All of their money. I steal it all.
What we've been able to build over the past generations and centuries, where we are positioned right now,
is to put 10 cities everywhere. So Canadians can suffer everywhere.
I'm looking forward to continuing to build this country every day, starting with today with you. Merci beaucoup.
We all hate your guts. Just plain and simple. We hate your guts, man. You're the worst prime minister ever. The biggest favor you could do right now is take you and Freeland and both step down and just disappear. Just go to Ukraine. You know, we need more frontline fighters on the, in Ukraine. Just go over there, help out. I highly recommend don't watch this whole video. You will get the Hershey squirts. It is unbearable to listen to this man speak for that long. Give a standing ovation to this guy, really? Well, you heard it from the dunce himself. He plans to keep running this country right into the ground. I think it'd only be suiting to show you guys a new poster I've been working on. I'm going to put these on tote bags. I don't know if anyone would want to wear this on a shirt, but yeah, so this one's recently been approved. I'm just trying to get it onto my shop. This one, unfortunately, keeps getting rejected. I can't even get it onto my shop. They won't allow it on there. I have another variation, which they also don't allow on my shop, so I'm trying to figure out what to do. If I can't get these on any shops whatsoever, there's multiple different shops you can set up with YouTube here. I'll just put a link to it, put in a location where it's free for anyone to download. If someone wants to print it out, put it somewhere. But let me know what you guys think, because every time I see this, it makes me laugh. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of this. Where do you think it would be best? Tote bag, posters, magnets, stickers, that kind of thing, etc. Big thanks to all the viewers come in. You guys are just piling on. It's quite remarkable. All the members joining. It just keeps growing and growing. I'm very grateful to everyone. Be sure to hit the thumbs up, and why not subscribe? Turn on the bell notification, all that good stuff, so you get notified once my videos come out. Stay warm, stay fed. We got to stick together. See you guys in the next one.